Hey, everybody, welcome to a conversation with Bill from the Where Have You Been podcast, or WHYB podcast. So, where have you been? For a minute there, I was thinking just YB, and I know that's not the name of the show. So, it's kind of interesting the way it works out that way. YB.
Yeah, I've had people try to tell me I should push it that way, and I feel like that would just confuse people more than I already confuse people. So,
and at WHYB podcast on most of the socials, I guess, right?
yeah, pretty much everywhere.
Oh, good. So we're just going to get these things out of the way. We'll hit them again later, but I always like to just start off with that. So people, they're like, I don't really want to listen to Bob. Bill's the interesting one. Let's just go listen to him directly and just forget this whole Bob situation. So then they're all set, right? So they don't have to think about anything.
That'll do.
So, Bill, why are you asking people where they've been? Are you the government?
Officially, no. But unofficially, I guess someday you'll see. No, honestly, it's something that, obviously, well, maybe not everyone knows, but you were also a guest on my podcast as well. That's how we met.
I know, yeah.
And I wasn't sure if you knew that. So now you do. Honestly, it's just something that I have a passion for travel. I've had a passion for travel for many years, and just found that having conversations with other people who are passionate about travel just turn into very long conversations, and they're very enjoyable. And so I thought, well, I have a radio background. Maybe we turn this into something fun. So,
oh yeah, there you go. Look at that. I'm being all fancy here. So this is your website here. Where have you been? Yeah, no, that's fun though. I mean, it is interesting that that's not. Sometimes people ask that question, but not all the time, right? So some people really aren't interested in where people have been, but honestly, it tells you a little bit about the person, don't you think? Whenever you find out, if this person's been to certain places, doesn't it kind of like, oh wait, this puts them in a little, and I don't want to say categorizes people, but it certainly gives you an idea about them, perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that you and I may have even touched on this when we talked before, that really travel, I think, really kind of opens your eyes to what's really out there in the world, and really can enrich your life in so many ways. And so when you find out that someone has traveled around, even if it's just around the US or whatever, it's still, I think it does tell you something about somebody. They've had some funds to be able to travel. No, that's not what we're looking for, but yeah, it really does kind of tell you something about somebody, I think. And doesn't mean that someone who hasn't traveled doesn't have had some enrichment in their life or some fulfillment, but it's just a completely different thing once you actually do it, if you enjoy it.
Well, but the other thing would be not so much but then you find out, well, they don't like to travel. Maybe they're like, no, I don't want to travel anywhere. I just stay home. And so then that says something as well, right? So not that there's anything bad with it. It's just, everybody's kind of personalities are all different, and so all these things help make up your personality. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and one of the weird things about St. Louis, I'm not originally from St. Louis, but I moved here when I was out of college. One of the things that people always ask people from St. Louis who grew up here is, where did you go to high school? And they ask that question because then it gives them an immediate, huge amount of information on that person. Because depending on where you went to high school and depending on what era now, it's becoming less and less relevant, but it was very relevant for people my age. And it gives the person who you're talking to a bit, okay, now we know you went to the county school. We know you went to a city school. We know you went to a private school. And so then it kind of shapes, the conversation, because then you're, oh, then maybe this person or that person or whatever. And so the travel question is kind of a similar setup. right? So you ask the person about that. You're like, well, for me, I'm like, well, I've traveled mostly domestically, right? So then you, oh, have you been here? Have you been there? And it's like an almost immediate narrowing of topic areas for you, which so you don't have to sit there and go, well, it snowed last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll be honest with you though. Most of the people that I talk to, well, especially when with the podcast, I don't talk to a lot of people who says I traveled once or twice and I just didn't really like it. That would be a very short podcast episode. But I'm sure that there's people out there that's happened. 1,000%. My mom was one of those. She enjoyed vehicular travel. Did not care for airplane travel whatsoever, and so she was very limited. But so I guess I'm not really tying that together because she did, I guess, enjoy travel to some degree, but she just didn't really want to do the long range travel,
So is this recently or in the past? Because I think airline travel has changed drastically over the last 20 years.
Yeah, it didn't matter. But then, my dad, who's still alive, God bless him, he doesn't really care about travel either. Like we used to take the family trips when we were young. We used to do Florida. I grew up in Western New York, so we would go to Florida every winter for a week or two or whatever. And in the summertime or spring, we would go to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And that was basically it, unless we were going to see family somewhere. And my dad's somebody who I don't think he might go see his brother down in Texas or wherever he's at now. But again, that's a trip to see family, not a trip to travel. And so, to each their own.
That's interesting. And that makes a difference as well, right? So, because I think, I don't know, statistically, I can't answer this question, but I think families are more dispersed nowadays, like say in the 21st century here, than they were in the 20th century. And so there becomes a lot of travel just to see family because you don't get to see them regularly, like before, absolutely, where everybody was each other's neighbors and everything. So that could be a change as well.
And for some people like myself who are very lucky and blessed, you have family who lives in New Zealand, which is where I'm heading actually in a couple of weeks to see my daughter finally.
Oh, wow. That's right.
Yeah.
She's a Kiwi. She's a Kiwi.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about it. I wanted to try to get there. Well, now I'm actually going. So thank goodness.
Wow. Now, how long a flight is that?
Start to finish from Pittsburgh, which is where I'm based. It's about 24 hours each way with layovers and such. So
where are you going to bounce from? Like, where do you go? Which is the points of switching or at least waiting?
Well, they are located in Wellington. So I'll bounce to Dallas, and then it's straight from Dallas to Auckland, which is at the very upper tip of the North Island. And then just a quick flight from the tip to the southernmost part of the North Island. So
yeah, there's a show called Wellington Paranormal. That's
I've heard of it. Yeah,
you should check it out.
Maybe I should before I go.
Yeah, just in case. That way you can avoid some nastiness down there in Wellington because it's a comedy show. But but that's a long way to go from Dallas all the way to Auckland. You'd think they would break it up somewhere in the middle. I guess there's no real place to break it up.
Not really. I don't think. No, I think it is what it is, man.
That's you're going to load up in Texas and then be on the plane forever.
Yeah, I just feel bad for those around me. I got to find something to stop my snoring. So,
so do you sleep on the plane? I guess you do. I would never. I have a hard
time. I typically don't. No, I typically don't. But the longest trip I think I took, I've been to Europe a handful of times, but I feel like the longest flight, maybe it was just because it was my first ever international flight, was to Athens. And I did not sleep on the flight. And I had a really rough go because we only had like one day in Athens and then we were taking off for Santorini. And we walked and walked and walked and it was hot. And we wound up in a museum near the Acropolis or whatever it was. And I literally fell asleep standing up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, literally fell asleep standing up. And it was time to go get some coffee after that. But
oh, my gosh.
I've never done that before or again.
That's wild. Yeah,
so
I don't
gotta try.
Sleep on planes either. I'm always, I don't know, I'm trying to think. Well, but I never. Have you ever sleep in the library when you were in college or anything in school?
I don't think so. I wouldn't doubt it if I did, but I don't remember that.
I like to think that there's some kind of connection between people who sleep in the library, public sleeping. Usually, the library seems to be the first place that people do their public sleeping, and then that, and then other places, right? So, on a plane or on transportation of some kind, or just anywhere. But
I'm much more of a private sleeper.
Yeah, I don't like to be asleep in public for whatever reason. I think maybe because I was a younger brother.
Sleeping is dangerous sometimes.
Yeah, if you have older brother and you're the younger one, then falling asleep can be falling asleep at the wrong time could be detrimental.
Yeah, I was the youngest, but I was the youngest by 9 years, and I had all sisters, and they basically took care of me growing up, so I never experienced that. I'm sorry.
Well, you didn't get beat up or anything then.
Yeah. Nope. No, matter of fact, my youngest sister would defend me if anyone was coming after me. So,
wow. So I have had a terrible childhood apparently, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I think you might have to see some therapy, talk to your brother, and
maybe. So that's not what this show's about. That's a whole.
And therapy's not a joke. I don't mean it that way.
So why did you decide? You're like, I want to ask these questions. Did you do this because you're looking for free tips, finding out where people are going that are cool, or what was the driving force?
No, if anything, it's been the worst part of it, actually, is hearing about all these wonderful and amazing and incredible places that I either never even heard of, or places that I have heard of but really know little about. It's been many years removed from school where we, learned the basics about a lot of these places. Mm-hmm. So, I honestly just, it does two things for me. Again, I think that it's so interesting to hear people's stories and experiences. If you don't know the podcast, we don't focus on tips and tricks at all. As a matter of fact, I try to steer clear of that stuff. Not that some doesn't get sprinkled in, of course, and I'm guilty of doing it as well. Sometimes you got a good juicy tip, and it's good to get it out there for everybody. But I fell in love with just hearing people's stories and experiences. And I know this sounds really cheesy, and I don't know if I told this to you before or not, but I literally feel like it would be such a shame if some of these people's experiences go to the grave with them, because some of them are very touching, some are very moving, some are just hilarious, some are scary, like, life-threatening situations, things. But I just feel like what a shame if those are never heard by anyone. Mm-hmm. And not that they were wasted experiences, but I don't know. Like, does that make sense? I just feel like they should be.
No, you're kind of cataloging or capturing these experiences, because I think a lot of folks don't necessarily think like that, right? So they're just like, it happened, and I'm happy to talk about it, but I'm not going to do anything more than that. Mm-hmm. And so they don't ever capture things in a format that's other than in their own mind, as it were.
Or photographs. But even photographs don't tell a story,
Right. That's true. I mean, it may all look fantastic, and then you're like, we were stuck in because of COVID.
Which is actually one of my favorite things about having, and I don't do a video, mine's audio only, but I do ask my guests typically to send me some photographs of the places that we discussed, because sometimes there's funny stories in there, or some really cool ones that you can try to create a visual in your mind, but then once you actually see the photograph on like Instagram or Facebook or something, and you go, oh yeah, I listened to that episode, I remember when he was talking about that, or she was talking about that, and then you can really put it together.
Do you think the fact that your parents were a little more, I don't want to say restricted, but didn't travel very far afield, does that push you to think about these things? Or
no, which is so if you want to go back even a little bit further, so I've worked in banking now off and on for the last 15 years, I guess. And when I started off as a banker, I actually just found myself, I'm just intrigued by people. I'm just intrigued by humanity and humans existence. And I just always felt like, when I used to sit down as a banker and have conversations with people, and they would be telling me their stories because I need to get to know them. And, should I be trying to give them a credit card? Does that make sense in their life? Should they be looking at a home? Whatever. People really, it's almost like sitting with a bartender sometimes. They really start to share a lot of information if they feel comfortable with you. And so that's actually what started it for me. I developed some relationships with some of my clients way back in the day. I never really cared that much for travel because I didn't grow up with it until I met my second wife, got married. And that was our first big trip, was in 2016, was our honeymoon. And she was a world traveler. She is a world traveler. And so she really got me. And I mean, once we went to Rome and Athens and Santorini, and like that was it for me. That the bug truthfully bit me at that moment. And now I've been all over the place. Not as extensively as many of my guests, but I'm working on
it. so only for about 10 years then.
Not even. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think we touched upon that. So I wouldn't have guessed that, to be honest with you. I would be like, oh yeah, this guy's been,
yeah, like I said, I've done a lot
through Europe or something. I don't know. That would be my,
no, unfortunately.
Would you do something like that? Would you backpack through Europe? Maybe not at this point, but.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Has somebody hit me up with a suggestion? We'll do it.
Are you would you rather do something that's a little more civilized, right? Hotels and everything, or would you do something that's a little more rough and camp and things like that? Or do you camp?
No, I think if I was camping, it'd be in a campground for a night or two. That's about it for me. I'm more of the, I love to walk. I like to hike, but I'm not really into the camping scene.
Yeah, I hate camping. It's terrible. But
I think we did talk. Did we talk about that?
I don't remember. Like we may have touched upon it, but I don't recall. But why would you do that? Just like, yeah, I don't know why anybody camps, to be honest. I don't want to, put down campers, but I'm like, why? There's a perfectly good hotel up the road. Why don't you just go there?
We can hang out outside until 11 p.m.
They probably have a fire pit. We can all make it look like we were someplace else.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious because I always wonder myself. I always think, not now that I'm a little bit older, not when I was younger, I'm like, oh, should I have done that? And I never did. And as I reflect upon it, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm glad I didn't. Because it's not in my personality to be, like that, to do that kind of stuff. It's, I like to travel where I kind of feel that I'm in control. Right. And I think whenever you're camping and stuff, maybe you do feel like you're in control, but I would feel like I'm not in control.
Yeah.
And so then therefore it would change the experience for me, I think.
Yeah. Again, I think like going to a local campground for me, I think would be more acceptable or I'd be more apt to do something like that because at least I feel like I'm still close enough to home. I know what's going on here. But to go to another country where I'm really just not familiar and lay down camp somewhere, I just don't think I would feel comfortable with it. But
yeah, I wouldn't for sure. But so speaking of going to other countries and so forth, what about the language barrier? How do you cope with that? Did you learn Italian or what was your strategy?
Typically, it's learn the basics. Whenever I go to another country, I always try to learn at least the, please and thank you, hello, goodbye. Maybe a couple other little phrases here and there. And typically, if we go to another country, we try to go long enough. It's not just a weekend trip, right? I mean, you're spending, even if you're going to different regions or different places, you're spending 4 or 5 nights, hopefully, in each place. So, you're around people enough over the course of a couple, 2-3 days, you catch up on some phrases or things that people continually say to you. You figure out what it means. Google Translate is the best, honestly.
It's making it too easy, isn't it?
Yeah. And most places that I've been, you can usually find somebody who speaks English well enough to at least get by. So, but it's happened where we haven't. I mean, we had some times in Italy where, thankfully, my ex-wife is fluent in Spanish, and so that goes a long way. I mean, We've done a lot of South America, a lot of Central America. And even when we're in a place like Italy, you can kind of, and I didn't realize this, but you can kind of get by a little bit with Spanish and Italian are close enough, I guess, sometimes. That you
Romance languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, French as well. So those are the big ones that they kind of have overlapping, you know, what do you call it? Themes. I don't know what you call it. But yeah, a lot of the words mean they're just a little bit different, but not so different that they don't sound like the word.
Yep.
To things. Yeah. Well, that's cool. The so you're doing this and so forth. If you couldn't do the where have you been, is there another area that you're like, I think I would like to do, you know, XYZ instead of this? If this didn't happen for whatever reason, what would be another area of your life that you would like to explore in this way, you know, podcast way?
I don't. If there was one, it would be something sports related. I'm not sure exactly what it would be. The problem is I'm not, and not that I'm an expert in travel, but to answer your question, it'd be something sports related. One of the other reasons why it's so great to do this podcast is because I don't have the means to be traveling constantly. So I'm sure that there's ways that I could make it work. I know that there are. Just I'm not in a place in my life right now to be able to just do that. But I get to live sort of vicariously through everyone else's stories. So even though I'm no expert in travel in any way, shape, or form, I get to gather so much information, and it kind of fills the void a little bit for me that I'm not traveling all the time, but I get to hear of other people's travels. So it makes a big difference. But I don't think I'm a good enough expert in knowledge of anything to be able to actually do this. That's why I rely on my guests to actually provide the entertainment. So
that's the beauty. You don't have to be an expert.
Yeah.
You just bring on the expert, or
that's true.
So what sport? If you said sports, what sport?
Baseball, football are my two big ones. So
did you
play? No, I was never athletic. I was on the bowling team, if that gives you any clue of my athletic abilities growing up.
That's okay.
I never even learned how to swim, Bob. I had a pool all my life.
Really?
Yes.
My goodness.
Not kidding.
Nobody just accidentally knocked you in or anything?
Never. No, I wish they had.
Well, you can swim. You can still learn to swim now. It's not too late.
Yeah, I can learn.
It's
Spanish
just like
too.
bowling, except you move both arms and legs.
And legs. Yeah.
The funny thing is bowling is one of those things, and I would have never thought this. So I was not on the bowling team. My wife was, oddly enough, but I wasn't. But I did bowl recreationally. But it had a big lull, right? And now I find that my kids actually will go bowling, whereas there's this huge, gap of time where bowling was not a thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that for sure.
So you must fall in that time period when it was still. Well, maybe they still do bowling I don't know. My kids' school didn't have bowling teams. Maybe they still do have bowling teams, but they never bowled at school. But they have bowled since they've been out of high school. And and I always thought that was kind of interesting because St. Louis, oddly enough, used to be where the Bowling Hall of Fame was, because there was a lot of professional bowlers that came out of this area.
Okay.
Dick Weber was the big name, and he had bowling alleys here, and there was a museum for him and everything until now we've kind of aged out of that, but all that's gone away now. But yeah, there used to be. It was not unheard of. There's probably, gosh, I don't know, at least easily a dozen bowling alleys in the city, not counting outside the city.
Wow.
And it was a big bowling town, and all that kind of has gone away, which is kind of sad in a strange way. Not that I have this affinity for bowling, but I always like the fact that I always hate it when things go completely away, right? It hasn't quite gone completely away, but everything's changed enough to where it's not the same. So I have my recollection because I would go bowling with my grandfather, who loved to go bowling and was on a league and everything. And the bowling alley that I went with him, it doesn't exist anymore. It's because time has moved on, right? And so it's a different world now. So I took my kids; they wanted to go bowling over the holidays, and I said, "I'll go with you." And so it's this whole other, it was not a dark, dank experience with everybody's drinking and smoking. It's this very bright experience with full on lights and having food. And I'm like, well, this is not what bowling is about. But apparently that is what the way it is now. So, maybe there's something. Maybe there's something to a bowling podcast. Maybe, Bill, this is your branch right here.
maybe a bowling podcast. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's making a resurgence. There's not a lot of people in the space. It's a niche that's not been filled yet.
Yeah, wherever ball's been. Okay.
I do have a friend who was a professional bowler when he was younger, so I got a guess for you.
Have you ever seen or heard of duck pin bowling?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never done it. Never done it.
I've done it a few times. It's fun and interesting for just when you're having a couple drinks with a buddy or something. But
right. Sounds like one of those
kind
of drinking things, though. Yeah.
It's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're small, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's about this. It's bigger than a softball, but much smaller than a bowling ball. Yeah. Little short, squatty pins on strings.
Right. Exactly.
It's pretty neat. Yeah.
That's funny. Like marionette bowling.
Basically. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So, but football and baseball would be your choice. I got you off on bowling because you mentioned you're in the bowling thing, but football and baseball would kind of be your sports of choice. Is it what attracted you to those? I mean, if you didn't play, what's the interest there?
Yeah, and actually, a little bit surprised that basketball never became a thing for me. So when I actually grew up in Western New York, just south of Buffalo, and so our local television station, when I was younger, when we had just regular cable back then, we were 8 hours away from New York City, but we got WWOR from New York City, and they aired all the Mets games. So I grew up as a Mets fan, and of course the Buffalo Bills are right there. And I grew up watching, the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen.
Oh yes.
But as I got older, I don't know, basketball. I enjoy watching it, but I'm just not passionate about it. So, but yeah.
Are you the guy that fills in the stats while you're watching the game?
I used to basically do that stuff when I was younger, when I was a kid. Sure. I mean, I used to make I made my own baseball cards. I used to draw my own baseball cards. And yeah, I actually tried to start a Buffalo Bills newsletter. This was back before www.anything existed. There was an internet, but you had AOL or Prodigy, and that was your only options.
Yeah, the old Prodigy and AOL rooms and everything, boards.
Yep. And I remember trying to start my own newsletter for the Buffalo Bills, and but yeah, I was heavy into that stuff when I was younger.
So I have a friend who loves football, but for the aesthetics, for the graphics. He loves the iconography and all of that, the colors and the helmets and all of that in football. I mean, football, he likes the game and so forth, but he really gets into, he's a graphic designer, but he really gets into the iconography of everything. I didn't know if that was maybe an interest there as well.
No. I did used to like to draw. Like I said, I would draw my own baseball cards. I would draw the logos from the different teams and stuff, but that was just purely for fun. So
now, would you interested in any kind of sports overseas? Because I mean, it's a whole different world when you leave the country as far as sports go. I mean, there is baseball and football and everything, but that's not the king of sports in most of the world. It's football, but not football. It's soccer.
Yeah, European. I've never really gotten into it. I will watch like World Cup, stuff like that, Olympics. I will watch those kind of tournaments. I do find football, soccer to be very, very exciting. We were actually going to a match in Wellington while we're there.
I was going to ask you, because Australian rules football. is a whole thing. I don't know if it's in New Zealand as well, but yeah.
Yeah, and so it'll be Auckland, and they're actually playing Sydney, Australian team, and I guess Wellington's not very good, but still, I just want to get to a match. I want to get to a match where people are really passionate about it. Not that the MLS stuff here, I'm sure that the fans are passionate, but it can't be the same, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I don't really follow like Premier League or anything like that. My daughter's boyfriend is a very, very, very diehard Arsenal fan. So if I see that they're playing, I'll maybe turn it on and root for them, but no, not so much.
So I have another friend of mine who is going to all the baseball stadiums.
Yeah.
And so he's gone all around the country, the United States mostly. I guess maybe he'll go into Canada. I don't know. I have to ask him, but he's not from here, and he came here to go to Busch Stadium, which is the Cardinals stadium. But yeah, so anything like that in your interest area where you can combine the travel with the sports, because then you would, that's kind of one of those weird combo things.
Listen, I'll tell you what, if the Pirates ever make the playoffs again and they can sustain some level of, I can see why I can justify spending money to watch this team. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind traveling around to see some away games because I do enjoy baseball stadiums very much. And I've only been to, I think, 3 of them in my lifetime. So I would like to do that. But it's not like on a bucket list sort of thing that I have to do that. But I would.
So what is your bucket list then? You just mentioned it. So
honestly, it's really just explore the world. It's just I want to experience as many cultures as I can and meet as many people as I can and just, get to understand why people do the things they do and what do they do that I don't even understand, and eat the local foods and experience the cultures. That's what I want to do. That's the bucket list.
So eat the food. So you'd eat, when you go somewhere, do you always like, what's the local cuisine? I'm going to have it.
I try to, yeah. Matter of fact, not that you're asking, but I actually did have, when I was in Peru a couple of years ago, I had llama, which, but I had guinea pig, and it was very good.
Guinea pig?
Guinea pig, yeah, very good.
Really?
A lot of little bones to pick through, but it's very good.
Drummy
I can't even tell you. It was just very soft and moist, and or maybe not moist, but tender. And I can't necessarily relate the flavor to. It definitely wasn't like chicken. I really don't know what to say. No, I don't think it was gamey at all.
Really? Guinea pig? I would have never thought. I mean, because that's one of those things, not to get gross or anything, but that's one of those things that, like chickens, that would be easily, grown, cultivated.
and I can't believe that this waitress hadn't heard this before, but at one point in the conversation, she burst out laughing. And it's because my wife had said to her, "This is strange for us because we keep guinea pigs as pets." And she just lost it. She's like, because they just breed them for food. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. So, I mean, I'm sure just like chickens, they're not taking up a huge footprint, and a bunch of them can live together.
Yeah. That's what they have, I guess. Take advantage of what they have available. Yeah.
That's wild. I to be honest with you, I've never heard of anybody mentioning to me that they've eaten guinea pig.
My wife did ask them to take the head off because I guess they do that for kids. And I thought, well, maybe that'd make it a little more palatable. They did not. They did not.
They didn't take the head off for you?
No. The whole thing was there splayed out on the plate.
So it's the whole guinea pig. You didn't get like a piece of it. You got the whole darn thing.
The whole thing. Yep.
Just gutted, I guess, and cooked.
Not even, I don't know. I think it was all there. I just, maybe they did take some parts out, but
Did they took the organs out?
Maybe they did. I don't know. I just ate it. It was wonderful. And I would do it again.
I would think the hardest part, of guinea pig would be getting the fur off of it.
That probably comes right off in the fryer. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Having a little knowledge in
they must shave them first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, having a little knowledge in the preparation of certain uh, meat products. Yeah, there has to be some kind of process there
Yeah.
because
And
pigs are hairy. Did you know that pigs are very
yeah,
hairy?
yeah, they are actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have to get rid of all that because people don't want to have a lot of hair in their food.
This is good
That's
bacon,
terrible to
but
say. I couldn't imagine the guinea pig is very hairy. So,
no, yeah, yeah.
oh
I
my
think I would try
goodness.
just about anything anywhere, to be honest. The only thing I don't think, and I've had the opportunity to try it, is it blowfish that if you're not
Oh,
licensed and
right.
understand how to cook it, it'll kill you? Is it
Right.
blowfish?
Yeah. If they don't prepare it correctly, that the toxins can get in there and then kill you.
Yeah. I don't think I'm willing to have one
Take the
expensive,
chance.
super expensive meal be my potentially last one.
Yeah. You're looking at the
So,
guy. You're like, I don't think you really got what it takes.
and it's too late.
I'm not going to eat blowfish prepared by a guy named Chet. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a bad joke about Chets. But anyway. No, it's
Sorry,
interesting
guys.
though. That's something I certainly am not up for. I'm not very food. I'm food averse rather than food adventurous. And so, yeah, I love the blandness of the American diet. But that is interesting though that you do when you're there you give it a whirl. I mean, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So you haven't tried ants then either?
No, well, not on purpose.
Okay.
But I was in my own yard. I hurt myself and couldn't get up, and had a bunch of ants on me. I may have ate one at that
Yeah.
point in time, but not purposefully. I was trying to get away from them, but I couldn't because I hurt my leg. But anyway, the yeah, that's interesting. No, ants or crickets, because I think crickets or grasshoppers are like popcorn. People eat them
Yeah.
in other parts of the world like popcorn. So
I feel like I've had crickets. I just don't remember. But I remember having ants because it wasn't that long ago.
now, when you eat ants, is it like rice, where you eat them like rice, or is it you don't do them one at a time? I'm assuming.
They're a little bit larger than normal ants, I think, that what we're thinking of. And the ones I had, they were very crispy. So, yeah,
That's not bad,
one or
then.
two at a time. They weren't my favorite thing. They didn't actually have a ton of flavor, and so it's a novelty. At least when I had them, it was a novelty thing. I had a few of them, and
Yeah,
I don't know if I
call
saved
it
the
a
bag or
day.
chucked it. Yeah, I'd say I did it.
I'm eating exoskeleton.
But that's one of those things that do you really want to just love it? Oh man, I just love
Mm,
ants so much. I can't get enough.
chocolate covered ants might be
You
okay.
know, I don't know.
I don't know either. That's weird. I don't know. I wonder what would happen if I did love something like that.
Right.
Would I start growing them myself? I have like
That's
an
the
out
thing.
back. I'd have a box full of ants that I could go
Yeah. Get an ant
like
farm, figure out how to
an
breed
ant
them.
eater,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get them out, dip them out there, and throw
Hey
them in
Bob,
the
your
old
ant farm was
fryer.
full last week.
Yeah,
Where'd they all
man, we
go?
had a party.
Hmm. Yeah.
No, see, I can see, I can see that you could do a sports travel show and go to weird sports around the world. I think that would be an interesting thing. But maybe I
Okay.
know that maybe not your thing, but
It's
I
an
could see
interesting
that happening
idea.
in the future.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea.
Well, you can. It's a triple play. So you got the sports, travel, and eating whatever the weird food at the stadium is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's a great idea.
I'll
I like
take
it.
that vuvuzela full of ants, and then after you
Yeah.
eat it, then you get a souvenir vuvuzela.
I feel like I'd be lucky to do one episode a month though. But if somebody wants to sponsor me, I'm game to try it. Let's
There you
do it.
go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so as we're going through time here, kind of just to wrap things up a little bit. So, what would be, kind of where do you think you're going to head with all this? Where do you want to go with it? I mean, other than obviously traveling more, is there something like you're going to go to New Zealand, which again, most people not going to happen, right? You're probably in the nth percentile of people who've gone. The only people who've been to New Zealand live in New Zealand, or Australia, and that's, the rest of the world I don't think heads there very often.
Yeah.
Although I know one person that's been, but other than you.
Yeah, and actually, again, very lucky. My daughter and her boyfriend were supposed to be moving to Spain this summer, and that's part of what I want to see my daughter, of course, and her boyfriend, but I also am selfishly, I want to get there while I have a place to stay for free.
Sure.
So now they've changed their mind, though. They're not moving to Spain, they're moving to Australia. So that means next year I get to go to Australia. So that'll be even nicer too. Honestly, I think for me, it's just, like I said, I want to see as much of the world as I can. I want to get to Asia, probably one of the next trips that I do besides Australia. I've never been to Asia, so it's high on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to see every continent or every country. I'm not trying to check anything off a list. I just want to have as many experiences as I can. And, I'm probably more than halfway through my life. And so, and I've just started traveling 10 years ago. So I've got a lot of catching up to do.
Well, heck, you're halfway through your life. Don't think about it like that. Come on.
Well, and even if I'm not, I don't know that I'm going to be traveling that much when I get double my age now. So.
Well, you never know, because
you never know.
Talking
and health advances.
Yeah. 100. The person who's going to live to be 150 has already been born, according to projections.
No, that's not me.
I doubt it's you, Bill. No,
I don't think it's
me. It's not me. I can tell you that. Yeah. But that means that you're not halfway there, perhaps.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll look glass half full. We'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Bill, it's been a pleasure. I had fun talking to you on your show, and this has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed it a little bit, and maybe I've planted a seed for your future endeavors. I doubt it, but I always like to think that maybe I have some. I do have one more thing. Let me throw it back up here. I think it would be. This is totally nostalgic thing for me. Wouldn't it be fun if you had a pin board where people could pin, if they've been on your show, pin where they've gone?
Yeah, that's a cool idea. As soon as you said nostalgic, I thought he's going to say something about a pin board.
Yes, because it's so fun.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, and anybody, not even just the guests, could pin and maybe make a little comment. Huh?
Yeah. So
add a picture or something.
That's my. I always try to insert myself into other people's projects, apparently, and so that's my. I'm not going to help you do it. Don't get any ideas, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I thought, it just came to me while we were talking, and while I had your website up, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you had like a little pin board thing? Because whenever you go places, a lot of times, even still today, there'll be a guest book, or there'll be a map, and they ask you to put your a pin on the map to show where you're from. Right, not where you've been, but so for you, it would just reverse that, and
maybe it's where are you right now?
Where am I right now?
No, maybe that's what the pin board is. Maybe it's because if you've been to 73 countries, it'd be hard to. It's a lot of pins. But if I just
I know, but that's the interesting thing, because the weird thing is you could tie your episodes to the pins. And it becomes this whole kind of non-linear 3D kind of way to get to the content.
That's interesting.
I know it's a lot of work.
You're not charging me for this, are you?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, good.
Come on. I just think it would be cool, and to me, there's a certain amount of nostalgia in that, just because I still see it, so that other people kind of like it as well still, but it should not. I mean, pie in the sky, and with AI coming on and everything, you literally can make an app that says that you do a check-in to where have you been when you're there, and it can drop an electronic pin on your map, kind of as a, Bill, I'm here, maybe we'll talk about it someday. And then it's just kind of ongoing kind of thing. So
that's a great idea.
But yeah, I don't know how to do it, but I love the concept of it. So
yeah,
I thought, well, hey, we should talk about that real quick. So,
that's
but that's
awesome.
the idea. I don't know how to accomplish it, but maybe your daughter's boyfriend is a smart guy and he can take care of this for you.
My daughter's a very smart girl too.
Well, there you go.
Something out. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I always try not, I'm like, don't push your kids to do all this stuff. You got to push their significance, because you haven't got to utilize their free labor as much as your children.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true.
They got some catching up to do on the free labor department.
Yeah.
So, but Bill, thank you very much. And for listening to my nonsense and being here and answering questions and going over stuff. It's been fun. I hope you've had a little bit of fun. Everybody, where have you been? We don't know yet. Maybe we'll know in the future with this pin board, but you can always listen to where other folks have been on Bill's podcast at WHYB, where have you been, podcast.com.
Yeah.
At WHYB podcast on socials. Anything else you want to talk about, plug or anything?
No, sir. I have nothing else to plug. I just, like I said, like you said, I think we had a lot of fun. At least I did. I had a lot of fun on on my podcast with you. And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun tonight as well. And so, just thank you very much for having me on.
Hey, and it's been great. And so everyone go see Bill. Where have you been? You tell him about it. He'll listen, and then he'll probably ask you where the best, if you have any relatives that he could stay with.
and what kind of food I should eat. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. If there's any good guinea pig recipes.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second, Bill. Everybody else, we'll see you next time.